Welcome to This is Friendship. I'm Karli and the moderator of today's chat. I'm here with my co-host Andi.
Hello.
And Joy.
Hi.
We want to thank you for listening in and joining our friend group. We're thrilled to have you here. One of the reasons Joy, Andi, and I started this podcast is because our friendship definitely is not typical. We're born in 3 different decades and we're in 3 totally different stages of life. And you know as well as we do that finding and maintaining friendships is not the easiest thing to do as you get older and life pulls you in all kinds of different directions. And we hope you can settle in with us each week to hear our perspectives and feel like part of our conversation. We'd love to know your thoughts on what you hear each week and maybe some topics you would like us to talk about in the future. And you can shoot them over to us at thisisfriendshipodcast@gmail.com. So please take us up on that. We want to hear from you. In episode 2, This is Letting Go Part 1, Joy shared a very personal experience, which she didn't necessarily know she was going to share in advance. And Andi and I did not know either. So we were very grateful for her sharing. And we knew that we couldn't just let that hang out in the air. So we decided today's episode needed to be about family planning, pregnancy, miscarriage, raising kids, and sending them out of the nest. Because we're committed to keeping each episode under 30 minutes, we know this is going to be another 2-parter. So here we go. We're going to start off with a few prompts. Today we're going to cover 2, and then we'll wrap up. And then on the next episode, we'll finish out the other 2 prompts that we have about this topic. So first, ladies, I want to tell our new friends where you are at on the baby journey. And Joy, I want you to start, please.
You bet. Thank you so much for that awesome intro and welcome on our family journey. We currently have a 3.5-year-old and we have 2 little ones in heaven. And we are currently 18 weeks along our next journey with our little ones. You girls have been so great, such a great help and support, both mentally, emotionally, and physically, virtually physically. So thank you guys for everything. You've been so helpful for along the road and the journey. It's been a bumpy one, but we know that it's not up to us. Not everything is, there's so many things that are out of our control. So we are on that road. So hopefully this road brings us another beautiful, healthy, lovely little one. We did just find out it's a little man. So I'm going to have two men. So I'm going to be the only woman in our family. But I'm prepared for that chaos. I know I'm not going to be able to have anything nice in the house for a while. So just preparing for that, just checking that out. So, both my husband and I are just going to take it this one at a time and kind of pace ourselves and see how things go from there.
It's exciting. Well, congrats again. Yeah, I know that everyone listening in is happy for you and also grateful for you sharing about your 2 little ones in heaven. And we'll talk a little bit more about that here in a little bit. Andi, how about you? Where are you at on your baby journey?
Thank you, Joy, for sharing. And thanks for the great kickoff, Karli. So I am a newlywed, as you girls know. So we are in the early stages of growing our family. But I have, of course, wanted to have kids for a very, very long time. And so I just feel really blessed to be approaching this time in my life. I have always loved being an aunt, and I hit the absolute jackpot with my niece and my nephew, and my brother and sister-in-law have been phenomenal with letting me share in their lives. And so they definitely set the tone, they set the standard, they set just everything that I hope to have and to experience as well. They're just beautiful, beautiful kids. So we're early in the stages. I cannot wait to see Jake as a father. Again, I think I've definitely hit the jackpot, and I'm so happy and excited that I get to experience that with Jake. And like I said, I'm just really, really excited for the start of the journey and for us to start to grow our family. So that's where we're at.
I can't wait to see Jake as a dad either.
And Andi's going to be the best mom. I know I told you that. I told you that years ago, but you are going to be the best mom. And I know that you want that so badly for yourself. And Joy and I are both so happy that you found the right guy
Thank
to do
you.
that with.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I definitely will be reaching out with questions. I'm just like taking everything in, right? Because I've seen everyone around me have kids, and I'm just so excited because it's a really fun blend right now where I'm able to learn from all of the loving people that are around me and the loving women. And then also in our close knit circle, it's also a time where our kiddos will be able to grow up together. So yeah, and I would say too that I'm super excited because I'm positive and I know for sure I have an instant babysitter in my niece. I think on pins and needles, kind of waiting for what's going to happen maybe over the next couple of months as we're starting our journey. So,
yeah. Well, and it's really good time because our last episodes were about letting go, lessons learned from the pandemic. And I think entering parenthood, that's a really good thing to practice, Andi, now.
yes.
Because trust me, nothing in parenthood goes as planned.
Absolutely. That's why I'll be asking a lot of questions.
Yeah. That's awesome. Okay, so where I am at in my baby journey, my babies are big babies. My youngest will be 21 this summer, and I have a 24-year-old son and just yesterday 27-year-old firstborn daughter. So I'm definitely in a different stage than both of you. I am an empty nester, been so a little over a year, which is a lovely part of the journey, I will have to tell you. It's so nice to be able to focus on your relationship with your partner, whoever that may be. And having adult kids, though, is a bit of a different set of worries for sure. But you have a lot of years of training for it, I guess. But that's where I'm at on my baby journey. I'm waiting for the grandbabies. Not anything soon. I don't want it soon. I don't want it before anyone is ready and it's the right moment in their lives. But I do look forward to having those little ones around to cuddle and squeeze and love up on. And having them love you that much back is pretty cool too, which happens in a much different way once they're big and adults. So yeah, so that's where I'm at.
Oh my gosh. And you are so prepared. You and Jody have just been amazing role models to watch as these littles are now becoming big littles and growing up into their own. It's just so exciting to see you guys transform and to just be able to be yourselves too, just to be you too again for the first time in a long time.
Thank you. Thank you. It's cool that you can see that from the outside because it's definitely been just the ebb and flow of relationships, I think. And we're so fortunate that we have each other and that we found each other in college and it was we were the right people for each other. So that's we know how fortunate we are to have the relationship we have for as long as we have. And so we're definitely grateful for that. And we're grateful for our kids to be able to be raised around that because that's their example. So, and we know that it's not necessarily a common thing for us to have found each other as young as we were to last as long as it has. So thanks. That means a lot for you guys to say nice things.
So I'm excited for this next part, this adventure. I'm excited to see where this goes. Troy and I are already talking about where would we move if we were empty nesters, and we have a long ways to get.
Yeah, it's good to have those dreams for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, do you guys have anything else to add that you forgot to tell our new friends about that?
No, I think I love all of our journey where we're at.
Okay, so next, Andi, I'm going to have you start with this one. What do you want our new friends to know about where you are currently at? What kind of advice might you share or things you just want people to know?
I don't know that I'm in a position to give advice. I think I'm just taking
you
advice.
are.
Yes, you are. You have a lot of experience.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I don't know. I mean, I think it's just in a very exciting time. I think that it's been a long time in the waiting for me because it's finding me a little bit later in life. And so I would say, I have some just trepidations as it relates to being an older mom and being in an at-risk category, so from a health standpoint, I mean, I think anybody who's approaching it would maybe have those concerns based on their age. So I would say I'm a little bit, I don't know. I mean, I think I'm just like in the learning stages. And like I said, we're just super excited to start the process. And, we've gotten through being newlyweds and the honeymoon, and we're settling into our lives together. And it's the next natural step. And it's been really, really easy, which is how it should be. And so I think we're really, really excited. And I think if anything for me, it's definitely worth the wait.
Yes.
And we've talked a lot about letting go and things are out of our control and just allowing things to happen. A long, long time ago, Karli, when you had mentioned what the topics were, I look back and I often journal and or I just pull things that are inspiring to me. So I think you both know that I'm a Pinterest enthusiast, but this was even like before Pinterest, essentially. And I had pulled something out of a magazine, and the quote on it was, "This is our purpose, to make as meaningful as possible this life that has been bestowed upon us, to live in such a way that we may be proud of ourselves, to act in such a way that some part of us lives on." And I think the living on for me is to, my greatest accomplishment will be being a mom. And I've always kind of known that. And I think because it is finding me later in life, there's a lot of gratitude in it for me because nothing is guaranteed. I think I'm much more mature now and, in a great place. And I think I look at it more as a blessing. I mean, always a blessing, but I think I'll revel in it more than maybe I would have if I was in my 20s when it happened. So I don't know. Timing is everything and it all happens when it's supposed to.
I truly believe that.
I am so excited for your journey. I mean, just your whole, I mean, if I can say, your whole love story, just from the beginning, from you two first meeting, I was just like, oh, I mean,
Thank you.
it could be, you have your own fairy tale, Andi, and I think you're this fairy tale princess that came out of is coming out with this knight prince, and he's amazing and carrying you off, and now you had this amazing beautiful wedding, and now getting to see you starting to just talk and light up about the next journey. I love that. I am so excited for you.
Thank you, Joy. Thank
And
you.
this family of yours is going to be so loved.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you. I appreciate that.
that's beautiful.
Mhm.
All right, Joy, what do you want our friends to know about where you're at? Because I think you
Okay.
probably have some good stuff to share about this.
Well, where I'm at, whew, I mean, 3.5. So we got through the newborn stage. We got through the first year, which was like, whew, we kept a human alive for a year. Like every parent should totally be celebrating that first year and just celebrating that they made it through every obstacle of that first year, not only like keeping a human alive, but also surviving as mom and dad and a couple. Because that first year there's so many hard things, and you're so many sleepless nights, and you say things that you really don't mean more often than you should, just out of pure exhaustion and
Hormones and too.
hormones up and down and all the above. Let's see, then we made it through the one, right? We made it through terrible twos, which I was just so disappointed. I did not hear that threes were worse than twos until he got to three, until his third birthday. So anybody that's listening now, just heads up that's approaching this stage, prepare yourself, bring your patience game, practice all the things that you need to, know your triggers, know what calms you down, know that if baby's crying, it's okay to step back as long as baby's safe, baby's fed, baby's changed, and sometimes babies just cry. Sometimes babies just cry. And sometimes toddlers just need their space. Sometimes mommies just need their space. And that's okay. Sometimes daddies need their space. Oh man, I feel like, being a stay-at-home mom and coming from a background of corporate world and retail really since, well, I guess my first job was a paper route in 8th grade. So we had paper routes from 8th grade through college, and then went on to a bridal shop, went on to Victoria's Secret, did Gallup poll surveys for a little while, and then went into Von Maur, then went into corporate buying there, and then to our next journey. And then all of a sudden, flip a switch, 8 months pregnant, and then stayed at home with bankruptcy closing, my career journey path that I was on. And now I'm a stay at home mom, isolated, secluded, and going out of my mind with this new baby and thinking, oh my gosh, what just happened? So I'm still figuring that out. I'm still learning to take time for myself, to make time for my friends, even though it gets hard too, because our days are so unpredictable sometimes. But that's kind of where I'm at. I'm learning the patience game. I'm learning the balance game, but I'm also learning that life doesn't stop just because you're a mom. Just because you decide to have this journey and start this journey, it just looks a little different and you figure it out and you can still do it. You can still do all the things that you want. It just looks a little different and you have to be patient. And I think with each season of life that you're in, give yourself grace and just know this is a short time and soak it up, take it in, breathe it in, drink it up because it's going to be gone before you know it. And I think that's like the biggest piece I want you guys to take away and just to Andi, especially for you to remember everything just happens so fast. But when you're in it, the days are long and the years are short. Karli, I'm sure that you can totally relate to this.
Yeah.
And other you moms out there that are listening, that have got older ones are saying, yep, the days are long when you're in it and the years are short, and every season has its life. So I think that's where I'm at, is just figuring out my triggers, figuring out my balance, and then just kind of rolling with it. That being okay if my house is a disaster, even though I've cleaned it up 3 times already, or there is something that still needs to get done or to come back to or needs pause while I take care of something else. I think just figuring out those things, that it's really okay, that as long as my littles are loved and taken care of, that's the most important thing, and trying to be okay with that. Even in my sometimes type A personality drives me nuts, makes me go crazy. I'm trying to go back and tell myself that it's really okay. Like,
Yeah.
it's okay.
I love all that you shared, and I can totally agree with a lot, the threes being worse than twos, and really trying to appreciate every moment, even though sometimes it's really freaking hard to do. Are you comfortable just sharing anything? Because you told us earlier you were 18 weeks within number 2,
Yes.
number 4.
Yes.
So are you comfortable sharing? And you can say no one will hold this against you, but are you comfortable sharing what it's like to be at this point after
Yes.
two?
Yes. It's definitely been a roller coaster. We had some early complications, which are turned out to be pretty common. Just seems to be a little bit more than they expected early on with some complications. So, but it's looking good. And I had an appointment today that's looking even better. So, but yeah, it's definitely been a mental mind game where one day even minutes wise, it doesn't even hours, it doesn't even have to be the same, where I'm feeling okay and confident about things, and I'm going back to my scripture and feeling confident that all my worries are gone, and then an hour later something happens and I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And my thoughts take over and my emotions take over, and I maybe start bawling in the middle of the day, losing my mind thinking about something. Yeah, it's been a roller coaster. I think after our first loss, I think it was Memorial Day weekend. And it was, I mean, then especially if it's happening on a weekend, it's something, like that, especially holiday weekend, it's something you're always going to associate that holiday weekend with. And it's something, before I experienced loss, I never would have thought about, oh, that's something that someone else might have associated with their experience. And I know everyone's losses can be so different. And I'm really, as I'm finding out talking about and sharing my experience with other women that have gone through similar things. There's just no two losses that are the same or that can really be comparable. Kind of like kids are unique. No two people are exactly the same. Everybody's unique and different in that way. And I think when there's so much more that goes with it, there's the hormones, the hormone loss that you come off of after a pregnancy loss. There's the physical things that you go through after the loss. It's not exactly the same as postpartum after baby, but there are a lot of things that are similar. Hair loss was not one of something I was expecting after loss. And that was one thing that it was just on top of, hey, you're feeling drab, you're feeling lonely, you're feeling like you're the only one in the world. And on top of this, why don't you lose your hair too? So just trying to make lightheartedness of things, but just those type of things I think you just never thought about. Or not only that, but being sensitive to what other people are going through, maybe at the same exact time even as you are, and you don't even know it because it just depends on who's ready to share what, when, and sometimes that's part of everybody's healing process and grieving process looks so different that I think it's just if you ever experience that or have someone that's going through that, I think the most important thing that you can do is just say, "Hey, I am so, so sorry that you're going through this. Like, I'm so sorry you're going through this. And if you ever want, I am here to just listen. I'm here to just be here for you." And that's it. That's all you got to do. I know that there is sometimes, people don't know what to say, so they don't say anything at all. And that's totally okay. It's totally up to your comfort level. But sometimes it's just nice to hear somebody say, "Hey, if you ever want to talk, I'm here." And you never know who might be ready or who might need to talk when, because there's postpartum depression too is a thing for after losses that is a very, very serious thing that you would never think about. And you would never know that someone is going through it if they don't share those personal facts with you too. So you just never know what kind of ups and downs somebody's going through. And I know I'm probably running long here, rambling too much.
Not at all.
Um, But I just wanted to give our listeners some food for thought and maybe just because it is such a tough subject and hard for it's even hard for me to even understand. And I've gone through it twice personally. And now going through this pregnancy again, I'm just kind of waiting for this kind of hammer to come down and anticipation of saying, okay, this was really fun while it lasted. This blessing has been awesome, but you're just waiting for the bottom to drop out sometimes, and I know that's not the way I want to feel. It's not the way I am trying to feel, but it is a way I feel sometimes, and I'm trying to reverse that thought process and just be thankful again in the moment that I have got to be along this journey so far with this one. So, I am that's maybe some food for thought I can give on some experiences. So it's not the next time it happens, it's still really scary and a mental mind battle game that I'm still working on, still working through. I don't have all the answers, but if there's answers out there, if somebody has some great advice or tips, I know I've got a few different devotionals, a few different resources out there that I've kind of reached out and latched to friends, just being able to talk about it with you girls and other people that have gone through that experience. I've definitely found that that's helpful in knowing that I'm not the only one and that our babies are all in heaven together. So that's kind of reassuring and just giving a sense of safety to kind of rest in.
I'm so grateful for you being willing to share all of that, Joy. I know it's not easy and it's a very personal journey. So I know there's so many women out there that have been through it, and it isn't something that people are always willing to talk about, comfortable talking about, comfortable hearing and listening to even. But I do feel it's really important as women that we support each other in whatever it is we're going through. So that's what friends are for, and that's the type of community we want to build here in this podcast. So thank you.
You bet.
Okay, so Maybe I should have gone before you. No.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. So what I want friends to know about where I'm at. So empty nester. It's a beautiful place to be. And I read things, oh, I'm gonna be an empty nester. Oh no, it's so terrible. What am I gonna do with my time? Come on, ladies. That's what I want to say to people, because it is a beautiful place to be. If you have put your whole heart and soul into being the best mom that you possibly can be, your kids are going to thrive. Your kids are going to go out and have a wonderful life, and they are going to continue to bring you happiness and satisfaction and love. And they're going to meet their life partner, and they're going to double their love, and you're going to see that. And maybe they're going to start a family, or maybe they decide not to, but whatever it is, it's the next part of the journey to watch them go out and experience life. Do they have hardships? Yeah. Does your heart break for them sometimes? Yeah. And it's even more challenging than when they're little, because you can't fix it. You have to let them fix it. And that is difficult, I will tell you.
I can't even imagine that right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
How hard that has to be.
It is definitely challenging. And you obviously never stop wanting the best for your kids, but you do have to let them go through and have their own journey, which again, as a parent, is not easy, but you have so much that you can do when you don't have little kids anymore. I mean, your friendships can get deeper, but it is hard to find friends when you're I'm 53. If I didn't have, you guys from a previous professional life and good friends from my gymnastics life, I know I would have a challenging time finding friends. So that's another reason I think this podcast is going to be so cool, because we can build this community of women no matter what stage of life we're in and no matter what age, and it can be positive and supportive and understanding, and we can talk about the different stages, because the three of us are in different places in our lives. And being an empty nester is pretty freaking awesome. I mean, you have more time, you've got more to invest in your relationships, you've got freedom to do the things you want to do. The only priorities are your own. What? That's pretty fantastic. You can reinvent yourself, because who's stopping you? You have less that you have to worry about as far as your decision making. So hallelujah to empty nesting. It's pretty freaking awesome in my book. I would not have traded anything. I love my kids, as any mom does, but I think empty nesting is pretty awesome. I would encourage anyone who is struggling with it to reach out. Let's chat, because there's good stuff in there, and we can talk about it and help each other find it.
I love that.
That's what I got to say about where I'm at.
I love it.
All right, guys. Well, I think that's for today. This is a pretty good stopping point, and I want everyone to join us next week when we talk about more of this same topic. Again, family planning, pregnancy, miscarriage, raising kids, and then sending them out of the nest. We've got a couple more questions that I want to ask you guys. And we're just really, truly happy to have our listeners and new friends here with us. And remember to send us your thoughts about what you hear in this episode or any of our others, and to send us topic ideas, because we want to talk about things you're interested in. So email us, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.